So we are going to talk about how does the actual cooperation or collaboration between the corporate and startup work. So I would like to, firstly, you can introduce yourself shortly.
Sure.
But what I would like to hear, we have 15 minutes time, and what I would really like to hear is like a true dating story. Like how it all started, how did you guys meet, what was the challenges in the first, how did it evolve to a good relationship, if it did. And what has been the challenges, you've had some hurdles as well in the way, and where are you now? But, firstly, you can just introduce yourself quickly, and then we start from the dating day one.
Sure. Yeah, so I'm Zsuzanna. I'm from G4A at Bayer. We are a startup collaboration program for digital health innovators and companies. Really what we're looking at is sort of early stage through accelerator program, but then also mature companies that already have a product on the market to close commercial deals with through our so-called deal maker. And we met Viomedo Alexander 3 years ago as part of our accelerator program. And we're really happy actually to share our story, because I agree actually with sort of the statement that startup corporate collaborations are tough. It's a very rocky ride, but it can work if you sort of have, the formula right. What also actually is kind of the first setup where we're exchanging and talking about this, so we'll be super interested to hear Alex's point of view on that as well. And maybe Alex, you can talk a bit more about Viomedo and how it started for you.
So those of you who don't know, I mean, you are the alumni of Grants for App program, right? From
we
2015?
were part of the second batch in 2015.
Yeah,
yes,
okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you guys have been working together for 3 years, more or less?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've met Bayer and the Grants for Apps program, I think even before they started the first batch. So there's been a kind of a backstory. It was not love on first sight. It was just to stay with the narrative. We participated in a program in 2015. Maybe I'm telling you a little bit more about what we do. We are developing solutions, digital solutions, and data integration, data services for companies that develop new therapeutics to accelerate their time to market. So we work with pharmaceutical companies such as Bayer, but others as well, biotech companies, medtech companies, digital health companies, to help them get to market faster, get through the approval faster, through better clinical trial design and patient recruitment.
Interesting. So you said that it wasn't love at first sight, so you kind of met before your first date. How did you get to involve with the program, and how did you, because there were some, I think Rolf at least mentioned that not always the accelerator is the best possible way to start the collaboration. You should be quite picky when choosing one. How did you end up with Grant for Apps?
We're both based in the same city, and Grants for Apps is very, I'd say, very visible in Berlin, with events that are, generally education about digital health, about new algorithms in healthcare entrepreneurship. And so it's a great community. And I think that's why it brought us in as well, for the community, not just for Bayer as well, but for the broader community where G4A is based in, and that's what they were doing a lot. Just as the last speaker said, look for people who can introduce you, to bring you in, and I think that, at least in Berlin, Grants for Apps was really successful in establishing.
Yeah, great. I'm kind of keen to understand, what happens after the program. You have been, like I said, working together for 3 years, and we all know that there are, accelerating program is 3 months. You get your mentoring, you get your workplace, you get lots of help from you guys. But what happens afterwards? You graduate from the program, and what next in your dating story?
Yeah, for us, it's really important to engage with our alumni, also after the program. Things like, doing this setup here, I mean, G4A is a very established player by now. We're actually the first accelerator program from a pharma company perspective, and really have a large network by now worldwide. We're in over 30 countries now with local programs where we engage with the local ecosystem, investors, other pharma companies as well, since we're an open innovation platform. So I want to also make the point that we don't own the company, so kind of the points from earlier, we don't have financial KPIs. We don't invest to own or to have Bayer on their board. For us, it's really important to further develop and push digital health as a field as itself through these collaborations, and really also to learn through these interactions. I mean, with Viomedo, for example, I mean, it took a super long time until they were able to sign a collaboration project with Bayer. I mean, clinical trials are a very regulated area by itself, but sort of by having to make it work with startups, we're able to identify the pain points in the whole process that is really not laid out for young companies to really accelerate these processes in the future. And I think this is a really important point, that as an established corporate, you don't sort of say, well, this is the process and this is how we have to follow, but not more sort of, okay, this is not working, but this is a very amazing technology, we want to make this work, to kind of go back and look in the process, okay, what can we make better to make these collaborations fruitful and possible. And hence, I think this was a really good learning experience also from a corporate side of viewpoint, and that's why also to get back to your question, we want to sort of maintain a close relationship with our alumni, but sort of to push and help them grow by connecting them with different stakeholders and players that we have a network with.
Yeah, sounds good. Has it worked that way? Has it been like Zsuzanna described?
Yeah, I mean, we work with Bayer since 3 years, and it's one of our clients.
Yeah.
And we're growing together, now taking it from Germany to other countries as well, which is a very important step for us as we're rolling Viomedo out across Europe. But yes, I mean, we've experienced that other companies have different processes, and it's not a blueprint, especially with these huge corporations where you make it work in one, there might be a different process in another one.
Yeah. But it certainly seems that, here we can actually see one very fruitful collaboration between a big company and a startup, right?
Yes. I mean, in the beginning, there was a lot of feedback that we collected. I think I wrote during the program, I think I wrote emails to about 50 new people each month, just to make us known, to introduce ourselves to everybody, to get feedback and to further develop our value proposition, our sales channel, our products. And now it's more of a, client-vendor relationship.
Sure. There were some talks about the cultural aspects and the speed earlier on. What has been the biggest challenges within your dating history on the path? What do you consider, Alex, that has been like? Have you faced some point where you're like, oh my God, this is not going to work? They're too slow, or the culture is so much different, or something else completely different. But
no, I mean, I think in everything
hard.
we did, there were roadblocks where both sides were like, okay, we won't be able to make it work.
Yeah.
And somehow you need to make it work. And of course, speed is an issue, especially in a startup. You're working against time, whereas as a corporate, that's not the issue. And then, of course,
was that understood in the other side of the table? Was that kind of like a?
No, I think the important thing as a startup is to realize you can't change a company like Bayer. I mean, we have to adjust, we have to make it work. That's really the only way. And that's how we did it. I mean, we adjusted, we made the necessary adjustments in terms of contracts, in terms of SOPs that we established, a thing that I didn't even know existed before, the word SOP, and also the timelines. And there are companies, even large, like very, very large companies, that can make very quick decisions, and then there is the same company in a different department that needs 10 times as much time for the same decision. So it's really, as the speaker before said and Suzanne said as well, it's really about individual relationships
people,
and how motivated each and every person is.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have lots of experience working with Viomedo, but a lot of other companies as well. Have you sort of spotted some like challenges along this whole path, not only the program but the collaboration?
I'm happy you brought up the cultural aspect, because I actually think that's kind of the first roadblock to begin with. I remember actually not with you guys, but sort of last year where one of our companies had their first meeting with quite important Bayer corporate stakeholder, and sort of walked in quite casually dressed, you know, like, hey man, what's up? And like, I have this cool idea, you know, hear me out. And the colleague was just sitting there looking at me like, is this serious, you know? So like our role really is there kind of like to be like a bridge, kind of, if you will, like a translator, because we understand the startup world very well. In our team, we have serial founders ourselves, people that started companies, but also people from the corporate side. So we're able to sort of bridge those differences, and on the one hand, mentor startups to, as you said, you know, really adapt and understand, you know, the machinery behind and the viewpoints, and on the other hand, also mentor the Bayer colleagues to be open-minded, to you know, think big and imagine, and sort of also be tolerant to when, you know, when things and pitches and concepts are not perfect yet. So I think this is why, like, without praising us too much, but I think that's why we're working out so well, because we understand these cultural differences and are able to mitigate and are passionate about that at the same time. So there was one fun example. It's, you know, little things like, I remember one of our startups, it was summer, it was hot, and loved walking around barefoot in the office. And like, you know, there was a, you know, a corporate security guy, and like, you know, set out an alarm that, you know, we have to wear shoes for security reasons. You know, it's just like fun stuff like that, where it's, not a huge hurdle, but still makes you really aware, you know, you cannot do anything you want in a, you know, large corporate space. But if you don't try, you know, you can't make it. And I think there's a tremendous value for both sides in these interactions. I mean, as pharma, we're not major tech players. We need to learn from innovators like Viomedo that are so close to the patients and physicians that we don't have direct access to really understand and learn what are the pain points in the healthcare system and how we can contribute to overcome that and really develop novel and useful solutions.
Great. I think we are running out of time, but I would like to quickly, if you could both say that you know, you're going to be both here, and I'm sure there are like health tech startups within the audience, and or maybe someone else who would like keen to talk to the people. Like, quickly say where you are at the moment. You have been working now 3 years. You're quite successful, but what's what you're looking for here now when you're in Helsinki and at Arctic15?
Yeah, we're scaling up across Europe now and are raising our next financing round, where we have half of it already committed. So please talk to us if you understand the space or want to get into digital health. I'm always excited to exchange ideas.
Great. Cool. And Zsuzanna?
Yeah, so we're actually in our phase now to recruit startups to our program. So any digital health hardware or software solutions, services. Specifically, we're looking at really cutting edge new stuff in digital therapeutics is one area, blockchain, of course. But then also very more concrete disease areas like cardiology, oncology, women's health. But if you have any other very cool fitting concept, come talk to us. Also, we have a colleague here from Bayer Finland. Here, maybe you can stand up very quickly, Arturo. Yep, so also this is the man also to talk to. We're going to be around here all day today and would love to get in discussion with you to see how we can help you scale and bring your product to market with us.
Great. Thank you both. It has been a pleasure to talk to you. We have maybe 1 minute for questions or two. Do we have any questions here? Anyone? No? It's really hot. Maybe everyone is all sort of looking for a break. So I'd like to thank you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
and wish you all the success with your funding round and your continuous collaboration. Thank you. Lovely.